Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, inviting you to join my co-host and I, Pastor Shannon East Jones, each Tuesday right here on Straight Talk from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. And if you'd like to call in and join the discussion, you can call 470-251-0349. That's 470-251-0349. And if you'd like to be a guest on the program, we'd love to have you. You can email us at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalk1362@gmail.com. It's Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Pastor Shannon E. Jones.
Hey, this is Derek Bozeman, and I always watch Straight Talk with Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. If you want to know what's going on in Atlanta and in this world, tune in and turn up.
Now tune in to Straight Talk Live with Greg Fann, where you are invited to have open discussions of topics ranging from social, political, economics, religious, or just open dialogue. So now, let's get to talking with Greg Fann.
Hi, Greg Fann here with another edition of Straight Talk. Nothing but straight talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man. That's 8-0, 8-0. Well, boy, it's going to be an exciting program today. I know Shannon's going to come up talking junk about, those other Favs and Fanns and all of it, and how Tampa Bay got beat so bad yesterday. But we got a lot of exciting stuff going on today on the program today. We got a special guest, one of the former U.S. Senate candidates, Tamara Shealy Johnson. She's going to be here with us to talk about why she was running and her commitment to what her agenda was as she was running for U.S. Senator. So don't you touch that dial. You stay here. Shannon's going to throw somebody in the trash can as you always do. Let's go Steelers. Let's go Steelers. 8-0. Let's go. We got a Super Bowl in sight. Well, hey, listen. Just stay tuned. Don't you go nowhere. And if you want to be a guest on the program, all you got to do is you can just email us at straighttalk.com. That's straighttalk.com, straighttalk@gmail.com, or you can call 404-308-0795. We'd love to have you as a guest. We're going to have Shannon in just a minute. He's going to join us. Don't you go nowhere, okay? All right. Boy, I told you we were going to have Tamara Shealy Johnson. She was going to be with us. She's a former candidate for the U.S. Senate seat, and she is a firecracker. And I got, Shannon, Lord have mercy. He's got on his gold and black. He wants to be still a fan, but he's pausing. But it's all good. It's all good. Tamara's all good. Hey, Tamara, how you doing today?
Hi, good afternoon, Pastor Bishop. And good afternoon, Shannon.
Good afternoon. You pray for me, all right? I will. This once. I have to do this week.
Tamara, you've done an outstanding job, in terms of your run, and I want to commend you on your run, and how you ran your race, grassroots, and getting your message out to people across the state of Georgia, which is no small task. And just want to applaud you for that, first of all. And secondly, want to talk about your agenda, what you ran on, and why do you feel that it's so important for African Americans?
Oh yeah, I ran it was a strong race. I feel like I gave it all I had, and the money was bigger than me. But I did have a message, and it really resonated with the voters around Georgia.
So that message.
Reparations.
Mm-hmm. You're freezing up. You're freezing up. Mm-hmm. So you said the message of reparation.
Mm-hmm. I ran on a platform of reparations, which is bold in this. Not many people want to talk about reparations, and they don't want to talk about our repair. They don't want to talk about our redress as a people. But we can't have an inclusive agenda and don't talk about the problems that plague Black America.
Well, let me ask you this question as I know you're a definite proponent for reparation. You have been for a while, not just when you started running, but that's just been a passion of yours. And over 100,000 people agree with you because that's how many votes you got. So there is a segment in this state that believe that black people should have reparation, and they were not just all African Americans, because I saw many Caucasians and other ethnic groups that were a part of your campaign and advocating reparation. So how do you feel now that the race is over and the message is out there? How do we get more people to understand about what it is that we, as black people, African American, would love to take place as it relates to reparation?
Yeah, I don't think it's over. It's not over. We've only just begun. You know, we now have a foundation. You know, we do have a lot of support. It's not just black people that understand the plight of black America, but we do have a lot of white supporters that understand that this has to happen in order for America to move forward. So we've only just begun, and this is a very strong foundation with these 100,000 votes. And this is a conversation that I am committed to continuing to have and raising our voices around, not just around the state, but around the nation. I am not going anywhere.
Well, let me do this because I want people to understand that the importance of what you're doing in terms of your message of reparation, and they need to understand. I think most people are not clear, Shannon, or when we talk about reparation in terms of black people reparation. Cory Booker pushed it, and then I forget the other congressperson that was pushing before Cory Booker. So this message has been around, but now that we have a female vice black president, we have many blacks that are elected in the Senate and in the Congress. There should be a demand that they start this conversation in terms of reparation as it relates to black people. Because my great-grandmother, who I barely knew, but my grandmother, my mother, and all the other blacks, your great-granddaddy, grandmother, I mean, the reality of it is that they fought hard and long and was mistreated. So, and built this country. They built this country. Black people built this country. Let's be clear about that. We built it. Free labor. But we built this country, but we didn't benefit, and we're still not really benefiting from the world.
We're the only ones that have not benefited.
The only ones.
Others have received some form of reparations, and we have not. What's interesting is that, yes.
Well, let me just come back. Let me come back to you. And let me come back to you so tomorrow can see you with your Steelers colors on.
This is me blackenizing what the Steelers have done to America, okay? This is me blackenizing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Why would we expect Kamala Harris to do what President Barack Hussein Obama did not do? His father was a Kenyan, his mother a Kansan. He is an African American. He was the leader of the free world, not the vice president. He was president of the United States. Why would we expect for her to do what he was not doing?
I'm gonna let Tamara address that, and then I will then say what I'm gonna say.
I just can't let you do it all.
I know you can. Look at you. Go on, Tamara. I bet you make.
I agree with Shannon on this one. I don't have any expectations of Kamala, because she never said she was going to do anything specifically for black people. As a matter of fact, there's an interview where she is laughing when they asked her about her platform for black people. So I don't really have a whole lot of expectations out her. I think we as a people now have to get beyond identity politics. All skin folks ain't kin folks. I hope she can do some great things while she's there, but I don't said she's going to do what Joe wants to do, so she's going to follow suit as vice president.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you both, you and Shannon both. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna disagree with you.
We're gonna come back in 4 years.
No. I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you. People do what we allow them to do. If we do not, we didn't put any real pressure on Obama. Come on now, we did not. So there was no real outcry saying to the president of this United States, Barack Hussein Obama, that we wanted him to put reparation. There was no real cry. There is no, and I hear what
we fought those who did. Those who did, like Tavis and Dr. West and others that would stand up and challenge him, we got upset because we were caught up in the Kwanzaa Camelot.
Right.
And you don't want to challenge the Kwanzaa Camelot.
Right, but the reality of it is it's our fault. I mean, we have to hold people accountable. People only do what you let them do. If you don't hold them accountable, you don't say something, even though she may be Joe's vice president, she may be, but she got Joe's ear too. Joe's going to be listening to her. If the people are crying, what did Johnson say to Dr. King? Make me. We have to make them by crying out and our voices being heard and being loud and clear. We want something done about reparations. Just like they walk the street, Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter. And reparations for Black lives ought to matter too. But that message, we have to say it. We have to say it loud and proud. I do have an expectation that you're going to do something. I have an expectation that any black that's up there, and that's Nikema Williams who just got elected, that's any of them, that we put pressure on them to sound the trumpet about what we want. I don't want her getting up there talking about civil rights and sitting up there talking about what John Lewis did. That's his legacy. What's going to be your legacy in terms of what you're going to do for your people? That's what I'm talking about. I don't need her going up there trying to talk about what John did and trying to keep civil rights going. That's what John did. Voting rights, that's what John did. We need her to have a mandate too. She's a Georgian. She won that seat. She needs to be vocal about reparations.
So we need to stop having kumbaya safe spaces like King Day and places like that where folks can come in and check the box and say that they've done this for the African American and then they go away. We need to. So in other words, we need to be organizing a lobby around Tamara and this issue.
Absolutely. Tamara, I got some pushback. You know me, I'll push back.
Oh, we don't mind pushing back. Let me ask you this question. Because perhaps some of the hardest and the harshest critics that you had to deal with probably perhaps in pushing this will be our own people. What has been your experience explaining your agenda to the African American community?
It was just what you said, a whole lot of pushback. And that's the saddest part of it. I have to fight black people for their own repair, for our redress, for the things that need to happen for us to be better and to get beyond our circumstances. I've had to fight us for that. It's one thing to convince white America, but damn, I gotta fight black America.
Did you say damn? This is straight talk, baby. This is straight talk. He'll cuss in a minute. He's a preacher.
And it's sad because that would not have been the experience. Jews would not have to explain to Jews why, or Native Americans have to explain to Native Americans why. Why do you think it's such a heavy lift to get African Americans to understand that this country owes us reparations, and it has systematically deconstructed, decapitated, and destroyed us in every vestige of the advancement of this country. We have never received African. Why do you think that's such a hard message for African American people to not only understand, but to give voice to and to back it?
So from people, the first thing they would ask me is, "Are you a Democrat? Are you a Democrat?" And we are so indoctrinated in the Democratic Party that we can't think for ourselves. And this is how I would answer that question. I run as a Democrat, but I am very independent in my thinking. So and people ask me like, so why won't you run as an independent? Why won't you do it? Because black people don't understand that yet. We're not there yet. They understand the Democrat, and I stand on the Democratic platform. I do believe I'm probably more Democratic. I'm very progressive, but that's too much to even explain, even with us. So, like I said, between the party and the black church, our people are so indoctrinated in reparations. I got it all on the campaign trail from our people.
From your people.
But you know, when you say that is, you got to understand our people have, and you can say what you want to say, they have a slave mentality. I mean, just feel the slave mentality. You know, we're not on a plantation, but yet we're still on a plantation how we think. I got mine, you got to get yours. You know, and I am a black preacher, and I've been one for over 40-something years, but I'm a black preacher that's real in my thinking. Black preachers have been the worst thing for us in terms of the black community. Why do I say that? Because the same thing that the black preacher did during slavery, bringing black folks to the master's poets to preach the master's message and to say what the master wanted them to say. Servant, be sincerely to your master, be submissive to your master. And preaching that message over, and we're still today bringing black folks to the master's table and telling them what the master wants us to say. That's why we have left on the message of love. We've lost a message from the message of loving your neighbor as yourself, doing the other you have. Because why? We're going into hatred. We're haters now. We're haters of each other. Black folk hate each other more than many white people hate us. And we say we're Christian. They'll know we're Christian by our love, but we don't show love. We're jealous. We're envious. We're selfish. All of those things. I look at this, Tamara and Shannon. I look at this. When Kelly Leffert won, and it was announced that she won, the first thing that Doug Collins did, he called, conceded, and said, I will be supporting you. That's the first thing he did. Secondly, now the president, the present president, not the president-elect, is using him to look at the irregularities in the vote count because they stick together. They stick together whether they like each other or whatever. They stick together. We have so divided, and somebody trying to help you and give you something, if it ain't coming from some Caucasian, then we don't believe it. We don't believe it. You gotta overly prove it to us. I mean, I know out there on that campaign trail, it had to be frustrating to just be saying to people, you know, the same thing over and over and over again about why we need reparation. Why we need reparation, right? Because we're just complacent, we're happy, we got that do attitude, but time it happened, then everybody be running around talking about, oh, thank you, Jesus, hallelujah. Well, that's enough of that for me. But don't, I'm sorry, because that's my soapbox. Because I am just sick and tired, actually, really true. I am sick and tired of the black preacher and how the black preacher has left his first love in terms of ministering to the people, helping the people, and helping educate the people. Our purpose is we should be educating the people on what they need to be about. Because if Obama won on Yes We Can, and if we were talking about can a black man win, and then he turned around and he won twice, because he believed. Black folks don't believe. That's the problem. They don't believe that it can happen. They see it before their very eyes and still don't believe it can happen.
Let's qualify black preachers.
Okay, let's qualify.
There was always, I think it's two types.
Is it?
Not just two.
Okay, all right. He said two types. He said two types, man. That's what he said.
Yeah, and the variation, but two types. So on the plantation, you had the slave preacher.
Okay.
That would say what the slave master.
Okay, all right.
And then at the hush harbor, you would have.
The Nat Turner.
That would stand up.
We'd have the Greg fans. Okay, I got you.
Standing up Greg fans. And would say, you know, let's get off of Paul. Let's get back to Exodus.
Absolutely. Okay.
God told Moses to tell Pharaoh, let my people go.
Okay.
So that has never changed because the black preacher is a creation of that plantation. And it's just how did we see the plantation, how did we cope with the plantation, and what was our outlook for the plantation. So so there are some Negroes. Can I say Negroes?
You can say what you want to say. This straight talk.
There's some Negroes.
Okay.
And then you have those pastors that are in the prophetic tradition that try to be purposeful. And I think we have far too many pastors that are capitulating under the master as opposed to one. And that's why the message is so far that she's bringing. And basically all she's trying to do is liberate us as a people.
Liberate. And the word again is liberate.
That's another word.
Liberate.
Tamara, in your work, have you had any intersection with Harriet Abu Bakr and Silas Muhammad of the Lost Foundation of Islam, different from the Nation of Islam, who was Farrakhan, the Lost Foundation of Islam headquartered here? I know they've done a great deal of work for more than the last 30, almost 40 years of working on the issue of reparations, going to the United Nations. Have you had any intersection with that?
I have not. I actually came out of the ADOS movement, which stands for American Descendant of Slavery. So I haven't. This is something that I fell into. The internet world grabbed me with this message, and I ran with it. And it was, this is where we are in history, and this is what needs to happen. My agenda included creating a federal agency specific to our repair.
Say that again. There was a delay there. We didn't get that last part.
In my candidacy, my platform included creation of a federal agency to address us. Like the same way we have a Veterans Administration, we have a Reparations Administration. This is generations of work that needs to happen. We're not going to go to Washington and get it all at one time and we get this, we're going to fix Black America. No, we have generations of people that have to be repaired.
You know what I just love you. You know that, right? You know I love you, right? Because one is you're a fighter, you're a forward thinker, and that's what we need. And we need more people to get on board. And the whole thing, and I said earlier about the Black Lives Matter, and Jan, I want to say thank you for clarification about the two types of preacher, because I know I'm definitely not down handkerchief head preacher myself. But I know I'd have been dead. I mean, I'd have been Cootie Kente. They done cut my legs, all my arms, and everything.
You would have got on the
But I wanted to just say this as we get ready to wrap this up. I think that it's the educated Negro and the uneducated Negro. It's the scared Negro and it's the Negro that has courage. And I'm using the word Negro. And I know some people say, well, you call us Negro. Well, it's the scared blacks and the blacks that have courage. Are you going to be African American? It's the scared African American or the ones that have courage. It's the ones that are greedy and selfish and only about themselves, black, African American, or Negro, or it's those that understand the scriptures that Jesus taught. Whatever you do unto the least of them, you do also unto me. And if you're not looking out for the least, the less, the lost, you're not doing it for him. And if you're doing it for self-grandizement or to benefit yourself, then you're going to lose the eternal reward. That's what he promised us. That's what I believe. That's what I teach. That's what I believe. That's why I continue to fight. And I want to commend you for your fight. And we're going to be doing all we can to help you to get the message out about reparation and how we can form that committee or that department to call for that department for reparation.
It's bigger than the Senate race.
Yeah, it is. And we.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, what did she think about the Senate race? You ask what you want to answer. You know.
Postmortem, I get spanked.
Let me tell you something about his straight talk. His straight talk ain't straight talk all the time. It's just talk.
What do you think about that there are two candidates now. Also, Warnock was in your race. It seems that there are four politicians in America right now that are considered to be the most important politicians in America. Two obviously being Biden and Harris, and then two being Warnock and Ossoff. What are your thoughts about both races and the chances of that, and what that may mean for the future of this nation, and perhaps even this message that you experience?
Well, I do have expectations there. You know, I do expect that Warnock at least would carry this agenda for reparations. That would be my answer to this race.
Do you have another question, Paul? Okay, then. Thank you so very much.
Can we get you a new shirt?
That has nothing to do with her and her rate and what she's doing. Hey, man, listen here. Let's go, Steelers! I'm sorry. I know you see, he's wearing gold and black. He's trying to be like he's got to be with us. He's not trying to be with us. You know what I'm saying? But he really at heart with the Steelers. He's trying to, perpetrate like he with the Falcons. But I'm going to give you this Steeler Cup. Hey, Tamara, thank you, man. Is there any closing remarks you want to have? That's the way we do it. We just do it like that, It's straight talk. You got anything you want to say? How people can get in touch with you? How do people get in touch with you?
One thing.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, I encourage people to go out and vote their conscience and vote their interest. Vote your conscience and vote your interest. So I am Tamara Johnson Sheely. You can find me at tamarasheely.com.
And if you want to join the movement, there he is for reparation.
Lil Wayne ain't conscious at all. We don't want him to vote his conscience. We want him to be, he too unconscious.
I don't know what's going on with Lil Wayne. I'm a little confused by him.
There's a lot of them confused. Lil Wayne ain't the only one. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you, Tamara.
Lil Wayne ain't the only one. Hey, Tamara. Lil Wayne ain't the only one. I'm telling you, Lil Wayne ain't the only one now.
Yeah. I was really confused by him, though.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look to have you back with more here on Straight Talk. Thank you.
We are AFIA Environmental Group. My name is Yolanda Piggerstock, and I am an owner of AFIA Environmental Group. We are here at Liberty International Church disinfecting for the COVID-19 virus. This disinfectant is a powerful disinfectant for the virus. However, it is safe for human consumption. And we will allow our technician to give you some additional information about the process, what he's doing, and how the chemicals work.
Chlorine vital oxide, which is a chemical that is used to kill mold, mildew, viruses, fungi. Actually, it's one of the best non-invasive chemicals on the market. As you see, we are disinfecting this building without having to enter full mark gear. What that means to you, that it is friendly when it comes into human contact, but at the same time, it has the ability and effectiveness to kill germs.
We are AFIA Environmental Group. In addition to providing disinfectant services, we also carry hospital-grade medical masks and the KN95 mask. If you are interested in our services, please contact us at 404-973-0502.
Hi, and I'm on Straight Talk with Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, one of the greatest pastors in the communities that really care about our communities. We need more pastors like you who are on the ground working, and I appreciate your community spirit.
Don't you dare touch that dial. We're coming right back with Marcel Ridley, election supervisor of Spalding County, to talk about what's going on with the election in Spalding County. Don't want to miss it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here. As promised, I am here today with Spalding County Election and Registration Supervisor, Marcia Ridley. You've heard much about what's going on in Spalding County, about voting and things that was going on in Georgia, and Spalding County was much on the news. And I have the person who is in charge of elections in Spalding County here with us today. So Marcia, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Well, I'm just glad that you could come and kind of talk about, you talked to us a little before about elections and election processes and things go on during elections. And I know that there was much across the country talking about Spalding County in Georgia. And of course, I want you to just kind of talk about what is the big to-do about, or was about.
Well, the big to-do about my office, and let me just say thank you so much for having me, and I'm just so elated to be here to talk to you and give it straight to the people on what's really going on in Spalding County. My office received a phone call about 7:05 and stating that there was an upgrade in the middle of the night. And my first thought was, who would update anything in the middle of the night? Now, if you're in the tech world, you know that anytime something major is going to happen the next day, that systems are not touched. So my first thought was, who would do that? But guess what? We acted very quickly in terms of what needs to happen. My poll workers trained, and they know exactly anytime there's an emergency to results a paper ballot as well as provisional. And that's what they did at this time. But during all that time, I connected with Dominion to find out if, in fact, that this was true. And so I talked with one of the gentlemen from the poll pad, and he said, no, we don't know anything about it, so let me call you back. However, I didn't get a call right back. It was probably 30, 40 minutes later in the meeting, provisional ballots. However, we had, every person in the county had text on hand, but in addition to the technicians, Dominion hired a tech to be in every single precinct. However, unfortunately, I only had 5 technicians in my precincts when I was supposed to have 18. Those particular technicians, during the problem, they said they were so new that they didn't know how to fix it. Then I had to Dominion, and they gave him some information on how to go out to fix the problem, which included a piece of software. So when he tried to go out and fix the issue, it still did not work. So Dominion at that time gave us what we call, in the technical world, additional information as far as access code. Access codes are related to people votes, like they'll get a code on what ballot they need to get. So during that time, we had to act quickly again. We sent an email to every poll manager of those access codes, and they also said we had to use one card, which is a poll manager card. A poll manager and each precinct get one card. However, the other cards that the people at the poll, can you imagine a manager using one card trying to facilitate and allow voters to vote using the access code? However, what I'm really, really proud about, even though that took place, we never stopped. We opened up on time, and the voters just, they was just a little slow, but it never stopped. And the voters were able to vote. No one was turned away. We continued to execute as much as we knew how. Then later, Dominion called and said, hey, we're going to send more people on the ground. So they sent 2 more people along with the person that I had with this particular software, where they had to go to different areas and update again on the poll pad so that could work. And so by the time they got here, which was about 1-ish, and by the time they finished, it was about 4 o'clock. they were allowed to vote by paper, and it was allowed to vote at that time on the machine. And what I was really excited about, that the poll workers, they turned into technicians. They're not trained to be technicians, because normally my poll workers range from at least 50 to 75 years old, well, 60 to 75 years old. So in so many cases, they're not that technical savvy, but they were able to pull it off. And we continue to allow the people to vote. But experience tells me that we have to work quickly, we have to think on our feet quickly, and those are things that we use as professionals and experts to make sure that we have things in place in case of an emergency. And so I would say that although all the hullabaloo was going on, we still had a successful election in terms of one of the most historic elections, which was the presidential election. So I'm very excited about that. And then 2 days later, we did tabulate. We had people here to watch the tabulation. I had a vote review panel, and also had, and the vote review panel consists of Democrats and Republicans, and also had different monitors that was there. But at the end of that, we got through about maybe 11:30, which that was fascinating considering what we had to deal with. In addition to that, I can step back a little bit. We had to do, the judge issued an order for us to open up, to be open 2 hours later. And it was based up on some misinformation. The misinformation was that we shut down for 2.5 hours. We never shut down for any length of time. We did not hear from the judge. So initially what happens when you have there's a petition for a poll to stay open, the judge is supposed to have a hearing, and then the board decides at that point to move forward. We got information. We got served by the sheriff that we had opened up 2 hours early, which we went on, did move forward with. It was hard to tabulate and count the ballots and still get out early. Kudos to the poll workers and everybody that was able to adapt that was going on. All right, 2 days later, now we have provisional votes that were voted during the time that we had a mishap with the voting machine. We had a group that just came, a mob that came in and said we were counting votes, and they were knocking on the windows, and we were not counting votes. The process of provisional ballot, we have to verify them to make sure that they're eligible to actually cast that ballot. And so once we verify them, we count on Friday, which is at 5 o'clock, because in so many cases, people that voted have a show ID, and then you have the citizens sometimes that haven't showed their paperwork that they're citizens. So there's many facets that goes on with provisional voting, but we have to do our due diligence to do due process for the voters to make sure they're eligible. Out in front of my office thought that we were counting ballots, and after we explained to them that no ballots were counted, they still did not believe us. And so we went on and continued to process these, the information from the ballots. So later on, we then had to call the sheriff to be escorted out because me and my staff felt threatened by this particular group. And so the next day was Friday, and at 5 o'clock, you and everybody that was there on Tuesday when we did the count, that we would count provisional on Friday. So we did count provisional on Friday at 5 o'clock, and the vote review team was there, and along with the media, along with the state investigators, and it went smooth. So we did everything that we promised that we was going to do. I've been down here almost 4 years, and we have had a transparent election. This office is open to anybody that want to. But in the midst of an election, sometimes you can't quite do that. But I want to let people know that this office is still open and we're still working transparent. And in addition to Thursday night, they had someone to dumpster dive to say that they found ballots. It has been stated by the sheriff's office, and it also has been stated by the Secretary of State there was no ballots found. What was found in there was little bit a person, and they threw it in the trash. And then there were many groups out there.
Marcia, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you back on that part,
yes.
Because you kind of been cutting out at certain points, and I want you to make sure that they're clear on that point in terms of what they did find.
All right, so during the time they on Thursday night, they also did a dumpster dive, and they said that they found ballots. Well, it's been clear now by the sheriff's office as well as the state investigator. Found our workers that was working. She was actually probably processing somebody and did wrote some information on a sticky note, and then oftentimes they're running absentee ballot reports to make sure that they have all applications accounted for when they're processing them. And so that particular report was in as well. They also said they found some applications, but the applications that they said they thought was ballots were applications and people to fill out an absentee ballot application. Me, myself, I got 6 of those myself at home. So when the voter would come in, they was like, we getting 4 and 5 of these, what do we need to do with them? My office will tell them they can do whatever they like to do with them, but we've already got you processed, so we have nothing to do with those groups out there that's soliciting you to fill out an absentee ballot request. However, my office has a trash can. Oftentimes, the voter will use that trash can. And so they found probably about 4 or 5 of those applications in there. And usually when those particular groups are out there, they'll put the county address that's closest that person is registered at, because they usually order lists to even mail those things out. So that's what was found in there. And thank God nobody information got compromised or anything like that. But the investigator did to throw anything in the trash. That particular person that was working at the time, I did get fired that person like 2 weeks before. I think it was around the 16th, because of just wasn't following instructions on what she needed to do in the office. So I just want people to understand that this office runs with integrity, and I've been in this business over 20 years, and I'm not going to stop working with integrity and working out there and citizens that cast their ballots and make sure they use their voice to vote. And one of the other mottos I have, that when they come in, they have a great experience. So we're continuing that effort here in Spalding County. And I just wanted to give the straight talk to let people know this is what's happening, and you got it from me. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call my office. Thank you.
Well, Marcia, I want to thank you for joining us today, because it was national news. Georgia was in the news. There's so much scandal now being thrown out, stuff that's being thrown out on the wall that, that the election was stolen and this, that, and the other. But I wanted you to come and clarify your position in terms of being the election supervisor of Spalding County, that there was no improprieties when it came to your race or your elections process in the Spalding County area. And thank you so much for all that you do for the citizens of Spalding County and for the citizens of the state of Georgia. which I am proud to be a citizen of the state
Thank you
of
so
Georgia. Not Spalding County, that is, but Georgia. Thank you so much for joining us today, Marcel. Is there anything else you want to say before we close out?
You're welcome. Oh, yes, I just want to thank everybody I just really want to thank Straight Talk for allowing me to give the story and give it to you like your business says, Straight Talk. Just wanted to share that. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do that today.
You're more than welcome. Well, God bless you, and thank you so much for just being a part of Straight Talk today with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. And we'll be back. We'll be back because Shannon got to throw some people in the what? Trash can.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's trash talk time, and I'm telling you, this has been a heck of a week, but we've seen Biden and Harris elected, and of course, historic election because Vice President Harris is first female, first African-American, first Jamaican-American, first Indian-American, so it just checks many boxes, and we're just so proud of her. No, that's fine, that's fine. No,
I want to still a color.
That's okay. You see Bishop is going to be here for Trash Talk today. He's got on his sanitation uniform, as you see, as not to get his clothes dirty.
I voted already.
That's right. With the team you vote for scares me with who else you voted for. I don't have a whole lot of in what your vote shows. Got to trust your team. But read the news. I'm not going to say anything about his team or the quarterback, but you just read the news and find out about the quarterback. And keep your daughters away from all Steeler games, okay? I'm just going to tell you that right now. Keep your daughters away from all Steeler games. So we got to put somebody in the trash today. We don't have to put somebody in the trash, but it's just always a whole lot of trash out there. And of course, this president lost. The blue wall has been built, and he went around and killed a whole lot. Well, didn't kill folk, got them sick with COVID. They say that the doctor, what's the handkerchief head doctor that works for him? We had to read his book.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that today.
Gifted hands, man. The House and the HUD secretary, Dr. Benjamin, Ben, as in Uncle Ben Carson, Dr. Uncle Ben. I see that. Dr. Uncle Ben Carson, we pray much for him today in all seriousness. Ben Carson is the latest to receive or to contract COVID-19, and it's been spreading around. The president went around the country spreading this stuff in order to get elected. So it didn't work. A lot of people got sick. It didn't work. And it's time to concede because this is not the dictatorship that he tried to build. Go ahead and get your. That's fine. That's fine. That's all right. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. You got anything else you want to move? Okay. So anyway, this president has absolutely. I can't believe I'm standing behind the Steelers. I feel like Donald Trump right now. I just feel lost. But in any case, he has not conceded, and we stopped the dictatorship that he tried to bring.
We did. Thank God.
But he's still thinking that America is not a democracy but a dictatorship.
He's still trying to dictate.
And he doesn't realize that it's time for him. So his wife went to him. She said, "Donald, it's time for him to concede." He did not listen. She went back and said he did not listen. So before anybody say why you bad mouthing Melania, I'm not xenophobic, but I'm just kind of giving the Trumps back what they've given to us for the last 4 years. In any case, Jared Kushner told him it's time to concede. He didn't. He's still not conceding. Went to play golf again. He's eating his McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the stuff that he does, and leaving the world to look at this nation, look at America. and to look down at us, as perhaps America can be turned. Perhaps they won't always have a peaceful, and maybe there's a way for other intelligence agencies from around the world to get in and create a civil war so that America could be destabilized and be taken. And that's the danger of what this president is trying to advance and to proliferate. So, Donald J. Trump, well, you know what? I'm not going to do it today.
You know?
No, not today.
Joe!
We're going to let Joe do it.
Joe do it. Let Joe do it. Let
So,
Joe do it.
Joseph Biden, you're the president-elect, and it's time for you to take the trash out. So we just want to say to you, Mr. President-elect Joe Biden, and I guess Vice President-elect Harris will help you too. Get that trash out and put him in the trash and get him out of here. Get him out of here. Oh, did you smell it? Oh, Joe! Be strong, Joe. Be strong, Joe. Be strong. Woo! If he tried to say you were sick, Joe, you'll be sick after you get through with that trash. Lord God, goodness gracious. But you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Lindsey Graham, Lion Lindsey said, mark my words. You can take the tape. We won't pick another Supreme Court justice until the next presidency. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not even, she had just died. I don't think she knew she was dead. The doctors did. That's how quick it was before Lindsey Graham pushed as the Senate Judiciary Chair for a new Supreme Court justice. Just a liar. Almost got beat. We put all that money in South Carolina. Almost got beat. But in any case, he's still walking around lying, and he's trying to get a Senate investigation into voter irregularities. Was on TV talking about some 6 fraudulent votes somewhere in Nevada or something. So he's trumping up charges and keeping Trump trumped up with all of his foolishness. And he's just a slime bucket, scum of the earth, if I've ever heard one. This is coming to you from a preacher of the gospel. I know scum and evil when I see it. And so it's time for us to put old Lindsey Graham, old Lion Lindsey, in the trash, and it is our duty and responsibility to lift you up and put you, oh, it stinks, but no, you gotta get down there, in the trash. Oh, it stinks. Joe didn't come back to get him. Joe gone. Joe said, I can't deal with that. I don't know how y'all do that. So we need the trash truck, come get this trash and get it out of here, get the trash out of here. It's got to go, Woo!
Thank you so much for watching Straight Talk. I tell you, an exciting program. Hey, share it with your Facebook friends, share it with your YouTube friends. It's Straight Talk with Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. And thank all of you who went out to the polls to vote, because now you know what? You voted. You matter to yourself. And we're looking for our country to be healed, but we must unify. We must come together for the healing process. It's not about personality. It's not about person. It is about this country, the great country that we live in, that God has blessed us to be able to live in. A land, a country of freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of opinion. Hey, and you have that right. You have the right to your opinion right here on Straight Talk. So listen, if you'd like to be a guest, all you got to do again is email us at straighttalk@gmail.com, or you can call if you'd like to be a guest at area 404-308-0795. And we'd love to have you as a guest right here on Straight Talk.
Inviting you to join my co-host and I, Pastor Shannon E. Jones, each Tuesday right here on Straight Talk from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. And if you'd like to call in and join the discussion, you can call 470-251-0349. That's 470-251-0349. And if you'd like to be a guest on the program, we'd love to have you. You can email us at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalk1362@gmail.com. It's Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Pastor Shannon E. Jones.
Invite your Facebook and social media friends.